Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, we're going to cover how to clean your engine bay. I'll share the tools and products, the process, and a bunch of other tips throughout the video. I'll have all the links to the tools and products, plus a guide to start your detailing business down in the description box below. So for starters is you want to go ahead and just remove any loose debris either by hand, which if it's not much then that's fine, just go ahead and remove it by hand. That part looks kind of yucky, so you can use a towel or just still grab it by hand. Make sure you wear gloves. And the next option that you can do is actually use a blower, whether it be a leaf blower, Metro Sidekick, or any of those options to blow out the leaves and debris. Of course, sometimes it's a bit much more stuck on there than others, so you just remove that by hand and get the rest, if you can, with the blower. So for starters, is if you want, you could spray down the engine bay with water, maybe to knock off some more loose debris. Here, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go straight into the foaming. Here I have Super Clean Diluted Sense 1 in the IK foam sprayer. I'm going to make sure I pump it up and spray. So here I'm still testing out the foamer. Now there's different variations of foam that you can get. This one's a bit more runny. You can have those thick layers of foam. I'm actually a fan of the runny type foam, just because I like that it actually runs down. It gets more into the nooks and crannies. Where if you just use the super thick one, it depends on the situation that you're in, but if you just use the super thick one, then it kind of just stays there where it's at. You have a thick layer of foam, but nothing really happens when it's just like kind of built on top of each other. With this, if it's runny, it's going to get down everywhere where it needs to be in order for it to really just start breaking down the grease and grime that's built up on this engine bay. But again, there's different variations. If you're cleaning something else, you might want a different foam. Here in this situation, I do like it. So the main brush that I'm going to be using is this Montana's boar hair brush. I'm just get it lightly wet, and I'll use this for a majority of the engine cleaning because one, it wasn't all that bad to be honest, and two, it can cover a lot of real estate. I just not a fan of using one small brush to get everything. Like, just use a bigger brush. You get the same result. If you need, come back and touch up the areas that you missed or that still need attention, but use the bigger brushes to reach the bigger areas and to just get it done quicker. I know it looks fancy and you feel like a better detailer, or it's more relaxing if you use this one brush to look at more studs come up, but I mean, if that's you, that's fine, but you just want to get it done and look at the results. Use a bigger brush for bigger areas, a smaller brush for the more detailed areas. Here now I'll switch over to the smaller brush. Now I'm not going to show you guys the underside of the hood, just because I'm just going to wipe it down with the APC or ONR. Not much going on there, it's not that dirty. But now that we use the big brush for the bigger areas, let's come back with a smaller brush, a more detailed brush to get the detailed areas. And for me, an engine bay cleaning can take you, let's say 30 to 45 to maybe an hour, depending on how bad it is or the type of engine bay that it is. And the last brush I'm really going to use is the easy detail brush. And even then, I'm still using the big one, not the small one. I haven't really been using the small one all that often. So I rinsed it down off camera right now, and then just get into all the areas that we couldn't get with other brushes. And remember, you're not going to be perfect. It's all about inspecting your work and seeing how it's coming along. And if you're trying to do everything perfect on the first try, you're going to be very disappointed because you are going to miss spots. You are going to have to check your work. You are going to have to come back. So if you're looking for perfection on the first go, maybe you're seeing some other YouTuber detailers saying that it's one try or they do it super quick. Look, just take your time. You'll get better over time. As you can tell, now look how I'm gonna spray. I'm not here to completely saturate the area. I'm just letting the water carry the dirt and the APC down, and that's it. I'm not gonna stay there. You can use much less water than that. If you're scared to use that much water, like look, like you can use a spray bottle if you want to rinse it down. Like it's that little water that you actually need to actually get the job done. Like very little water, very little water. I'm not holding it in one spot, I'm moving it around. Inspect. And we're good, just like that. Now I will say these are dedicated engine towels. They're literally from like Home Depot, so you can see them. They're literally just from Home Depot. That's like a pack of like 15 for like $10 or something. I just have dedicated engine towels. That way I can always use them over and over for the engine, and I don't get like, you know, interior towels dirty that can just be used for interior. Because with the engine bay, even if you do clean it and such, a little bit of oil or grease that's still around is gonna permanently stain it, and you don't want to kind of use that for the interior as well. So here I just do a quick pass and just wipe everything down, and then inspect and see what needs to be touched up. And on your, you know, when you're doing that second pass now, you don't necessarily have to use the water hose or your pressure washer again. Like if you're just touching those spots, like if you see that this spot here and this spot here needs attention, then you can either just use a towel here or come back with your brush and your APC and whatever you're using and just use, this is actually ONR, but just say you just have water here, just spray it out with this and then just wipe it down here. That way you minimize the mess that you're making around the engine bay. Since you're already rinsing it and got most of the work done, just touch up the areas that you need with a towel and, you know, whatever brush you're using, and then just rinsing down with a water bottle. This is just still cleaning. I'm not necessarily drying right now, although that's a byproduct of what I'm doing. I am still drying it because I'm still cleaning it up. But next is I'm gonna blow it out, and that's where it's gonna really dry. Here I'm just still trying to touch up some areas. And there we go. Let's inspect as we still wipe down. And there's still, so you can actually lift this up and get all these. And you really have to talk, if you're doing this as a business, you really want to talk with the customer and say, well, what are the expectations? Because, you know, a lot of times we get called out to do like an engine bay cleaning because there's a leak somewhere and they want to find it. So they want to clean up the engine bay to kind of better pinpoint where that's coming from. So with that, we're making it look a lot better, right? We're cleaning everything around, but we're not trying to get it show ready. They're not going to enter it to a car show where they're going to have judges or a bunch of spectators roaming around the vehicle looking into the engine bay. And if that's what the customer wants, that's a different service, and it's going to take a much longer time, and it's a different price point than it's just your average, you know, Like here, this is 99% of the people are going to be happy with the results here. It's everything that we can see, you know, generally is in good condition. It's cleaned. If you're going for a car show or something, then maybe they want to be a bit more you know, specific and say, hey, let's make sure we get all the way down there, and like any aluminum or any metal, can we polish that out, and can we, you know, they want to do something like that. So it's very important that you know what type of or why they're getting that engine bay done for, because again, like just a regular maintenance cleaning, no big deal. And the important thing is that you do want to look in every direction, right? Like don't always just look one way. Look at it this way, and look at it from above, and look at it from below, because that's when you'll find like, oh snap, that's when I missed, like, you know, these areas. And you want to make sure you touch them up, because you want to touch them up before the customer sees that you missed it. Not that it's bad, we all make mistakes, but if you could just get it done in one shot, have the customer be happy, they pay you, you leave, bada bing bada boom. That's how the cookie crumbles. So that's gonna wrap up on the initial cleaning part. Again, like we could still go a bit more, but this is a free cleaning, so we're gonna stop right here. But overall, it is, I mean, most people are gonna be happy with this type of service, with this type of level. I mean, again, like we can keep on going down there, and then all the way down here, like all, not just saying right here, but like way down there, if the customer actually wanted to go that deep, that's what she said, into this type of service. But most people are going to be happy with these results. So now let's go ahead and apply the dressing to really make all the plastic and rubber pop. So to dress the engine bay, I'm actually going to be using Jay Leno's tire and trim care. Typically I use Meguiar's, but they sent us over to test it out, so here I am testing it out for the first time actually. Now it came with the dispenser where you pour it out. I put a spray trigger on it. I think it's going to be too thick to actually dispense it, but for engine bays I do not like using the where you put it on the product and then spread it around, just because there's too many areas that need to be covered with you using a towel or a pad. Like I like to spray all over it because it's water based, not going to damage anything or stain anything, and then coming back and wiping it down. Like I said, I think this is too thick to use in a sprayer because not much is coming out. That's, you know, that's me just testing it out. So I would not recommend, I don't think you're supposed to do this. Well, at least that's not what is recommended. Or maybe a different trigger, maybe. I mean, it's coming out, just not like, you could tell there's some hesitancy on the pullbacks. Like it's not wanting to just come out easily. But for now, I'll still do it. Like I would still use this with a trigger though, because I just, for engine bay specifically, I do not like having to manually put it in every little inch with just it on the towel or the pad that you're using. And that's gonna wrap up this video. It turned out pretty well. I wasn't going for perfect, especially because I wasn't trying to stay out there all day. So if you are interested in looking at the tools and products that we use, or if you want to start your detailing business, check the description box down below. And if you have any comments, questions, feedback, most of all, then also leave a comment down below, and I'll see you on the next video.